Yes, all right, it's winter time. This is winter. Yes, my garage is partially open. It is what it is, just like my sweater is partially open. What am I gonna do about it? Because I'm always in partial denial that I'm living here in winter time. Gloves, jacket, none of it, and I'm waiting for summer. And this makes the perfect setup for what I want to talk to you about today, which is the prevention of things that are hidden, can affect your dog and some of your cats to cause some awful, both short-term and long-term illnesses and diseases. Lyme disease. This is like coming from ticks, right? And we want to prevent this. Second thing is, when you let me help you with Lyme disease prevention for your pet, it actually helps fulfill my mission at the 100X Mobile Vet, which is, I help your pet, I get to help 100 more. Yes, you can help me help other pets at the 100X Mobile Vet. Because I'm old and I've been around a long time, I've been in Ontario when there were no ticks. There were no ticks that passed on Lyme disease to dogs. And then when we first started to see it come in, not every tick would carry the Lyme bacteria. It was kind of hit or miss. And nowadays, it's so common that we just assume that that tick that's on your dog has probably got the Lyme bacteria that can affect your dog with Lyme disease. So over time, things evolved. First, ticks were just a thing out west, and then slowly but surely, it was one neighborhood, then another neighborhood, and then this park, and then that park. I remember the first time it got into my neighborhood. A cat I had named Zach, he was out in the front, and he actually got a tick. And then I saw the products evolve over time. What kind of products did I see? I saw this, this, and I mean, look at this one. Look at this cat's face. This cat's like, you're gonna put what on me now? One of the early products had a skull and crossbones on it. You know, the warning label you find on like products that are toxic. Of course, these things were tested, and then, you know, if you put this on your dog, could not go near a cat because the cat would do a shake and bake. That's what we called it, seizures and all these things. Bad, 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 bad. But nowadays, the products are so much, they're refined, they're better. So over time, I developed my own rationale of how to figure out what to use, when to use it, what worked, what didn't, and what to do for dogs who are like extremely sensitive to everything, medications, vaccines, and we're gonna talk about my 4-part process right now. Number 1, this is your first line of defense. It's just awareness and physical detection. Because do you know, if you can find and remove a tick within 24 hours of it being there, you massively reduce the chances of your dog getting Lyme disease. So that has never gone away. That is old school, using your fingers in a tick twister. So ticks like to hide in warm, tucked away areas. Think ears, think armpits, think over the chest and collar area. They can go in the groin area and elsewhere as well, but these are major places that they like to hide, right? You wanna do a slow, hands-on check because ticks are actually easier to feel than see. So you just rub your fingers over and you're gonna feel these little bumps and you're gonna know if they shouldn't be there. You're then gonna wanna use a tick twister. Why a tick twister? You can't stress the tick out when you find them and remove them. It sounds weird, you gotta be nice to the tick. If you stress the tick out, it's gonna regurgitate blood into your pet, and that blood can contain the bacteria that causes Lyme infections. These things are kind of like sporks. You wanna put them in under the tick, you twist, 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 and then up like that. That's how you kind of take off a tick. Okay, past that first line, my second line of defense is, well, dogs are furry, so are cats. It's gonna be hard to feel them. So having a second line of defense, which is a preventative product, is awesome. And the good news is that when I saw the second generation of products come in, it was fantastic because it really did work to cut down the amount of Lyme disease we were seeing. I actually wish there was products like this for people, because my thinking is that our prevention for Lyme disease in dogs is actually at a higher level right now than it is for people. Just think of all the celebrities that you know, even in Canada, who actually have Lyme disease. So this year, for my dogs and for my cats, I'm using NexGard Spectra and NexGard Combo. So here's the beauty of these latest preventatives. They're all in one. It used to be I had to send you with a box of this plus a box of that, and then this box had to extend for this long, but not this box. Now it's refined, clean. It's a lot easier to give. For the NexGard Combo, it's once a month, typically March, April, you might need to start it, and typically nowadays it's October, November, you're probably gonna need to end it. For our cats, it's topical, because anyone who has a cat knows how much they like taking pills, right? I mean, some of you got lucky with cats who like taking pills, but for the rest of us, topical. For these combination products, we're talking coverage for fleas, ticks, intestinal parasites, heartworm, all of it, the whole shebang. But for me, the most important thing is Lyme. That's really the thing that I see in our local area that causes the biggest quality of life deficit. The third prong is vaccination. Vaccination for Lyme disease. I kind of call this the back catcher. Why do I call it the back catcher? Why is it for me in third place? I'll tell you why. Because physical removal, step number 1, you're already reducing it. Protection with preventative, step number 2. My goodness, anything you can't find with your fingers is now being repelled and eliminated from your dog. Now, how the vaccines work is this way. It assumes everything failed. Everything was a complete failure. And then the bacteria actually got into your dog. And what does that mean? It can set up shop and cause an infection, and that's what the vaccines are for, to create this immune response to eliminate that infection from your dog. It's a non-core vaccine. What does that mean? That means it's a conversation. It's not a one-size-fits-all. And any of you who've been with me or my team during an appointment know it's always a discussion. Even if you've had these vaccines in the past, chances are I'm gonna go through, is it relevant? For example, if I have a Chihuahua or a toy poodle and they're living in a purse and they're in a high rise and they don't touch grass and they have a preventative, they have a person who's feeling their body, chances are that's good enough, actually. That's doing great. And you're not gonna run into Lyme disease. Versus, I have a friend who lives in the country, she does the preventative, she does the checks, and even with all of that, she's still picking off ticks off of her dogs on the regular. Can you imagine that? So for her, vaccination is absolutely on the table. It's very relevant, right? What's the fourth approach? Well, it is true. There's a very small percentage of pets who are very sensitive to anything, vaccines, products, all the above. And I developed a system for them as well. It involves all this stuff. What's all that? What's all that? I blood test before the season, so I kind of get an idea of what their exposure is to Lyme. Then we use tick twisters. We've got these tick twisters, and you're gonna do daily checks on them. And then at the end of the season, I can kind of check them again, right? With doing some blood work with this blood work collection, these blood work collection devices, it's quite easy to do. And I can kind of figure out they were actually exposed to Lyme bacteria, which is actually different than infection. We can together make a judgment call about what to do about that. So here's the takeaway. Things have gotten so much better and refined of how we prevent hidden illnesses like Lyme disease. And the products and preventatives that we use are so much better. When we provide the preventative products like NexGard for your pet, you're helping us fulfill our mission at the 100X Vet, which is every visit, every product, the care ripples outwards, helping animals far from your home, including the work that we do in Cuba. And they need that right now more than ever. Protect one pet, create 100 ripples. That's the 100X Vet.